Europeans had unexplained changes in their DNA 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, and it still remains a mystery. Scientists don't know why. A new study indicates that the genetic markers of this first pan-European culture were suddenly replaced around 4,500 years ago. A sudden genetic turnover that took place a few millennia ago remains unexplained. Ancient DNA recovered from a series of skeletons in central Germany up to 7,500 years old has been used to reconstruct the first detailed genetic history of modern Europe. A new study conducted by the international team of researchers at University of Adelaide, Australia Centre for Ancient DNA, ACAD for short, that their colleagues from the University of Mainz, Germany, and the National Geographic Society Genographic Project reveals a dramatic series of events, including major migrations from both Western Europe and Eurasia, and signs of an unexplained genetic turnover about 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. The research was performed at the University of Adelaide, Australia Centre for Ancient DNA. Researchers used DNA extracted from bone and teeth samples from prehistoric human skeletons to sequence a group of maternal genetic lineages that are now carried up to up to 45% of Europeans. This is the first high-resolution genetic record of these lineages through time, and it's fascinating that we can directly observe both human DNA evolving in real time and the dramatic population changes that have taken place in Europe, says joint lead author Dr. Wolfgang Hack of ACAD of Australia. We can follow over 4,000 years of prehistory from the earliest farmers through the early Bronze Age to modern times. The record of this maternally inherited genetic group, called haplograph H, shows that the first farmers in Central Europe resulted from a wholesale cultural and genetic input via migration beginning in Turkey and the Near East, that is around Asia Minor, where farming originated and arrived in Germany around 7,500 years ago, says joint lead author Dr. Paul Brotherton, formerly at ACAD, now at University of Huddersfield, UK. What is intriguing is that the genetic markers of this first pan-European culture, which was clearly very successful, were then suddenly replaced around 4,500 years ago, and we don't know why. Something major happened, and the hunt is now on to find out what that was, ACAD Director Professor Alan Cooper said. We've established that the genetic foundations for modern Europe were only established in the mid-Neolithic after this major genetic transition around 4,000 years ago, says Dr. Hack. This genetic diversity was then modified further by a series of incoming and expanding cultures from Iberia, that is of course the area of Spain, and Eastern Europe through the late Neolithic. The expansion of the bell beaker culture, named after their pots, appeared to have been a key event, emerging in Iberia around 2800 BC and arriving in Germany several centuries later, says Dr. Brotherton. This is a very interesting group, as they have been linked to the expansion of Celtic languages, Celtic languages, along the Atlantic coast and into Central Europe. These well-dated ancient genetic sequences provide a unique opportunity to investigate the demographic history of Europe, says Professor Cooper. We can not only estimate population sizes, but also accurately determine the evolutionary rate of the sequences, providing a far more accurate timescale of significant events in recent human evolution. The study published in Nature Communications, and it's on Message to Eagle. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.